it's the TJ. It's the 4.0 AX15. It's got 30-inch tires on it. Actually, they measure 29-inch. This is the end of the days for the 4.0. Next is coming the R2.8.
I swapped an R2.8 Cummins into a 1997 Jeep Wrangler. I started this build because I wanted something that was just a basic vehicle. I want to go off-road as much as possible. In reality, I can't stay off-road. I've got to go to work. I've got to do other things. But at least when I get that chance, I can go. One of the particular things that I wanted with this Jeep is just being around diesel and also reading up on it a bit more. I wanted a diesel Jeep. That's the main thing that I really wanted. It's just the perfect fit. I've had diesel trucks and stuff like that, and I mean, in my opinion, it's heads and tails above a gas equivalent engine. Having the 4-liter, it's a great engine, but I mean, it doesn't have nearly enough low end torque. It has okay torque if you gear it quite a bit. This one's got 307s. It came with 33-inch tires, so in 5th gear I wasn't going anywhere. And also, even now I've got 29-inch tires on it, and you were constantly fighting it on the highway. It just could not maintain speed. I could barely do over 55 miles an hour. It was just so hard. 5th gear was basically useless. You could go through a whole re-gear. You could do a lot. You can make it functional. But then I still wasn't going to get past the 12, 13, maybe 14 miles a gallon I was getting. Also, this vehicle was a bit older. I got it with somewhere around 250,000 miles on it. That was 5-6 years ago. And ever since I got it, I wanted it to be a diesel swap. Of course, at the time, I was thinking like a 1.9 liter diesel from the Volkswagens. I'd had some experience with Volkswagens. I really liked them, but ultimately, I decided against this. I felt like it really, by the time when I got ready to actually buy an engine and do the swap, the kit was about the same price, and I explored a bunch of different diesels. I felt like the 3.9 was just really too big. It had similar torque output to this 2.8. It really didn't seem like a big seller to me. You can also, a lot of people talk about, stroking a 4-liter, and yeah, that would be okay. I think that actually, from what I've read is that doesn't look like a great option. I almost think maybe forced induction of some sort would be better if you're going to keep the 4.0, but then you're stuck with still poor fuel economy, and then you're also stuck with premium fuel. Man, premium fuel is more expensive than diesel, so if I'm not going to get a massive boost in fuel economy, practical, it wasn't. Plus, it just wasn't what I wanted, because there are so many aspects to diesel that make it kind of optimized for off-road. If you're not someone that really likes to spin your tires, you really like to, just burn smoke everywhere. You're not really looking at racing. If you're looking at racing, I think gas is the way to go. If you really want that feel of acceleration, that's where you're gonna go. If you just want to maintain your speed and go on about your day, man, it's hard to beat a diesel. Low RPM, torque is just none other. A lot of people will sell you on horsepower, except in racing situations. Horsepower's not that useful. It's mostly torque. It's torque that keeps you maintaining speed. It's the torque that keeps your vehicle and your trailer moving. It's torque. Even a lot of V8s don't have the low-end torque of the R2.8 Cummins. So, and even then, there's a bunch of diesels out there. This looked like one of the easier swaps. It costs a lot of money. It just does. But it's a brand new crate engine. It's got pretty good support. It's expensive. It's expensive support. However, it is support. So you just got to know that going in and decide what you want. For me, this is more of a comparison of, okay, do I want exactly the Jeep that I want, or do I want something newish like a Colorado with their 2.8 Duramax? It looks like a pretty good package, but I mean, it's 40-something grand, and there's so much stuff that I don't need. And I like being able to take the doors off when it's a beautiful day. I like being able to take the top off. Granted, I like a little bit more storage than the Jeep has, but it is what it is. I mean, but at the same time, it's kind of like a motorcycle where you just have to know your limits, and you've got to buckle down a little bit and do what you can with what you've got, you know. And I guess I'm getting a little off topic. Now, I've actually already finished this build. One of the builds I see that if it wasn't for this build, I think I wouldn't have at the time, but I really like it. I've seen the Kubota swap, and I'll leave a link there. I think that is a really good budget type build, but I wanted my Jeep functional quick, and I wanted to back up on the road. That was just not gonna happen for me with the Kubota swap. It might have happened with the 1.9 TDI, but give me displacement when you got a diesel. If I can get the weight worked out, and the 2.8 is basically the same weight as the 4-liter, that is perfect. As much displacement as possible is my opinion. There's also the VM 2.8s, which were in Jeeps. That's not such a simple swap. It's a great swap if you can do it, but it's not something I was going to be able to handle in a few months. This is something, honestly, if I had a little bit more time on my side and didn't have a few things pop up, if I'd had all the stuff at the very beginning, this install could have gone a whole lot faster. And it still went pretty fast. 2 or 3 months is pretty darn good for a diesel swap, for most engine swaps. So this is just sort of the basics, just kind of run you through what I was looking for. But again, the bare bones of this is that I just wanted a dead simple vehicle. I'm going to upgrade the axles to a point later. I'm going to go with Super 35 and Super 30 axle kits. I'm going to go lockers, at least in the rear, and I need a lower range transfer case for what I'm doing, and I'm going to slightly tweak the axle ratio to 355. I'm at 307s right now, and during this build, I actually went ahead and bought and got some 33-inch by 10.5 KM3s, and they've been very good tires. I had some, even though I purchased them at 30 or 31-inch tires, they're down to 29-inch by 8.5 or 7.5-inch wide tires. Wonderful tires in the mud and off-road. Horrible on the road. And they didn't lie. I'll have to put some sort of link or indicate what tires I had before. But they weren't going to stay. And I'm loving the setup that it is now. Just, I guess, spoiler alert, I finished. But anyway, I've currently I've got for the transfer case, I've got the NP231. I started off the build, I was going to keep the stock gauges, but I just got to the point where there's something that's nice about taking something out of the vehicle, setting it to the side, and know it's never going back in there. And I felt that way with the Jeep's PCM. And I felt that way when I got rid of even the speedometer sensor, speed signal sensor, and not having to deal with those worm gears or whatever they're called to get my speed right. Man, I went with GPS, and then that also means later I didn't plan on it, but it's gonna be a bit of a benefit for me when I go to an Atlas, because I do want to go to an Atlas 5-to-1, maybe an Atlas 4, and then I get some more options there. Because yes, it would be nice to maintain the stock ratio and then also have the low range. But honestly, I think that's overcomplicating what I do, and I think it just gives me too many extra shifters. And again, I want a pretty good degree of simplicity. And what I mean also with the simplicity of this is that, especially for a common rail, the way that this R2.8 Cummins integrates into the Jeep is, I can't say it bar none, but it's a pretty simple setup. There's only a handful of wires that need to be hooked up, and so for someone who's a novice like me with electrical, I made it work. I was easily able to remove you've got to spend some time. I mean, this is not easy. This is not for everybody, but it's not bad. But you've got to want it, and if you haven't been just drooling over wanting a diesel, and you have the money that can afford to get into playing with this thing, then it's not for you. There's a lot of great options out there, a bit, and I looked at a lot more. I hit on a few of them. In some respects, sticking with the 4-liter and just staying within its limitations makes a lot of sense. It's from an economical standpoint, but I wanted more, and so I ended up going with the R2.8 Cummins. So watch, subscribe, and maybe you can learn something, and maybe you can do a build of your own. Thanks for watching.